I choke? Why do I always choke on my coffee? Good morning and welcome to Coffee Talk. I hope that everybody slept well. And for most of us, there is only one more day until our kids go back to school. Glory, glory, hallelujah. I am ready, and I have no shame about that. I am ready to send my kids back to school. So every time that I have any interaction with somebody that is more than just a, hey girl, how are you? Good, hey, how are you? Like a real meaningful interaction, I try to say, what is the lesson here for Coffee Talk? Like, is there anything that I can apply that will benefit the people that tune in to Coffee Talk? I don't know. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, push the like button or the love button. I see a couple, but usually I see more. I just want to make sure you can hear me. All right. So, ow, sitting on my foot. Okay. Yeah, today's like the Mondayest, Monday? Where am I from? Canada? Today is like the Mondayest Tuesday in the history of Tuesdays ever. Okay. So here's the thing. I was on my Instagram page the other day, and for those of you who come over and followed on Instagram, I hope you're enjoying it. Most of you are clearly have similar senses of humor than I do, which I love. Anyway, and somebody asked me about another person. Hey, Jamie, why don't you talk about so-and-so? Or, talk to me about so-and-so. And I responded, snippy. I said something like, can somebody tell me what the point of this question is? I think because I was sick and because I was irritable and because my kids had been home for 2 weeks and because I was over it and because I'm human and because sometimes I'm snippy. And I felt really bad about the way that I snapped at her. And she sent me a message and I wrote her back and said, listen, I'm sorry. Honestly, I've just, I haven't felt well and I'm just irritable. We all have those days where we're just everybody shut up. But I want to explain to you why I don't talk about certain people. I understand that people feel that they have a certain right to information. When you watch a show, when you read a book, when you go see a movie, when you support people's creative outlets, you feel like you have a certain ownership in their journey. And you do, in a way. But I want you to understand why I don't talk about certain people. I always say it's not my story to tell. And it really isn't. I have learned a long time ago, Jamie, stop telling other people's stories. Because what I was doing, if I'm being really honest, is I was telling other people's story the way I wanted the story told. We all do that. We tell our side. And sometimes we make sure that the story sounds better for us. And I realized I was giving away all the power in my own life, trying to control the narrative of other people. Listen to me again. I was giving away all the power in my own life, trying to control the narrative of other people. You cannot control the narrative of other people. They will always tell the story the way they saw it, the way it best expresses their view on it. And I was doing that. And I could no longer tell whether I was telling the accurate story or the story my heart wanted to tell or the story my hurt feelings wanted to tell. And I realized that it had become a compulsion. And all my power had been given away to people that had hurt me. Literally, I was powerless because I felt compelled to tell the story to anyone who would listen. Listen to how I had been wronged. Listen to what had hurt me. Truth is, nobody really gave a shit. They just wanted the drama. They wanted the information. They didn't really care what happened to me. Curiosity is a power stealer. They will steal your power, and they will encourage you to twist the narrative because it's beneficial and entertaining. Not feeling you today. Thank you, Connie, for sharing that. Everyone, Connie is not feeling me today. Okay. I'm not feeling you either, Connie. So I guess we're cheers. All right. So what I realized about people who maintained control, they were people who were able to hold on to their personal emotional power. I could not control my personal, I had lost my personal emotional power. I was giving it away left and right to anyone who would listen, and I was so depleted trying to make my case. If you have ever been in a situation where you are desperate to make your case, if you have ever been in a situation where you just want to be heard, you just want to be validated, you just want to be right, you are giving away your emotional power because these people cannot validate you. It is impossible. So what I agreed to do for myself, all right, leave Connie alone. What I agreed to do for myself was stop talking about it. The greatest power I had was to give it zero attention, to give it zero life. The compulsion that I felt, I thought was giving me power. I thought that if I controlled the narrative that I was in a position of power, and the truth is this: who they are is who they are. The things they did and the things they do are the things that they will continue to do. I don't need to tell the narrative. It doesn't make me powerful to talk about it. People will see it or they won't. The most powerful thing I could do was stop talking about it. Stop giving it life, because I had depleted myself of my own emotional power, and people who are in control of their own life are in full control of their emotional power. Let me say that again. People who are truly in control of their life are in full control of their emotional power. They do not give it away to anyone else. It is okay for you to say, I refuse to talk about it. It doesn't mean you're wrong. It doesn't mean you're right. It doesn't mean you don't care, and it doesn't mean you do. It simply means that you are going to protect your peace, maintain emotional control, and really focus on maintaining control in your own life, because we all know we can't control the actions and reactions of other people. We just cannot. And the more we try to control the narrative of other people, the less emotional control we have over our own lives. Okay, listen to me. I'm going to say it, and I want you to respond to me because it is important to me. The less attention you give a situation, even when you are desperate for validation that you have been wronged. You know you've been wronged. You don't need anybody else to tell you that. You know what being wronged feels like, and you know what it looks like. The best way to maintain control over your life is to maintain complete emotional power and control over yourself. Do you understand what I'm saying? Tell me if you understand. Because if you do, you truly can set yourself free. You truly can set yourself free. As soon as you understand that in order to maintain the power in your life and the control in your life, you have to maintain total emotional control. That is when you are the most powerful, when nobody has control over your emotions, when people prod you about a situation and you finally get to a place where you say, I don't discuss it. It's not my story to tell. Okay, Tamara, I will give you an example. I have had falling out with friends. Okay? People are curious. People want to know why. They want to know what was done to me. They want to know why these people are not in my book, why I never mention them, why I don't give them any attention. I realized that I had spent so much time trying to control the narrative. And in trying to control the narrative, I gave away all my emotional power, all of it. I was powerless because I was trying so desperately to get people to hear me. Don't you know how I was wrong? Don't you see what they did to me? I was like an emotionally, I was, here, take my emotional power. Here, control my emotions. Every time someone brought up their name, I became a different person. It was like a mask that went on. I was like full of rage. I was no longer in control of my own emotions. I cannot give people who hurt me that much power over my emotion because then I lose control over my life. You cannot control my life. You cannot control my life. And that's what they were doing. And that's what they're doing to you. And if you don't see it, you are not there yet. But when you give someone the power over your emotions, they are controlling your life. Controlling your life. I have the power now. Yes, Katie, I have the power. So when people say to me, hey, what happened with so-and-so? I say, oh, that's not my story to tell. Simple enough, right? That's not my story to tell. And if you're not there yet, ask yourself why. Why do you feel compelled to talk about it? Why do you feel compelled and obsessed with telling the story and controlling the narrative? How is that beneficial to your life? How are you protecting your peace in that way? Like, I get that you're not there yet because there was a place and time where I wasn't there yet either. But it didn't benefit me at all. It didn't help me. I didn't grow from it. Being in that space, it didn't change the situation. Like, maybe one person was like, oh, she did that to you? She's not a good person. It still didn't make me feel good. It was never enough. I wanted the world to see these people for who they were. And I realized you can't control that. And I'm not going to give away all my emotional power to people that have hurt me. They then control my life. If I can't walk through my day without hearing someone's name and becoming an irate lunatic or a sad sap or a resentful whatever, I have no power over my own life. And I'm sorry, but I need power. So, with that being said, simply say, oh, it's not my story to tell. And if they push you, they don't care about your boundaries and they don't care about your peace. Because anybody who cares about your peace would hear you say, it's not my story to tell, and go, oh, okay, got it. Yes, even family, even anybody, you protect your peace. If they push you, they don't care about your peace. Okay? And people who ask typically don't care about you. Yes, Teresa, they only want the gossip. All right. I love you guys so much. which is why I get up and do this every day, because I feel like if any lesson I have learned can somehow benefit even one person. Okay, and let me just say this really quick. I'm not saying that you should never talk about it. I'm saying choose one or two people that can help you get over the initial hurt. Talk about it. Really, thank you for sharing my video, Cheryl Bryan. Yes, find somebody, one or two people safe that you can talk about the narrative. You can talk about what happened. Of course, yes. I'm talking about everybody else that will come to you with their hand out wanting some of your emotional power. Every time you try to control the narrative, every time you try to validate your feelings by telling people the story, you keep it alive and you're giving away your emotional power, which means you have no control in your own life. Take the control back and say, that's not my story to tell. That's it. All right. I love you guys so much. Have a great day.